special good morning to the listeners. Good morning also to the viewers. Welcome to today's edition of To The Point. I'm your host, GT. Welcome to those of you via social media platforms, Facebook page, YouTube channels. Good morning once again and welcome. Let me say welcome to my guest, Senator Claudette Joseph with us this morning. Welcome back onto the program. How are you doing this morning, Senator?
I'm doing great, and it's good to be back so soon. I was here just the other day.
You know, there's that little street talk where we say you're shining.
When it's nice to do it twice.
Yeah, so true, man. Welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
All right,
thank you very much.
Certainly welcome. You're certainly welcome. Mm-hmm. All right. So we should have we have 1 hour to do this morning, and we have lots to talk about.
Yes, I think I said thank you, but I also did not say good morning to everyone viewing and listening to The Point.
All right, man.
And so it's good to be back.
And I know they certainly will happy to have you on the program because there's lots you need to talk about. I want to get the ball rolling off. As they would say, of course, let's break that ice just a wee bit. You recently attended the WIPO Assembly lately. Talk to me about it. Senator, tell me, in your national statement at the 60th WIPO, of course, Assembly, what was the primary strategy or takeaway for Grenada and fellow small island developing states?
That's a very good question that you started off with. WIPO, for just in case any viewer or listener is not aware what that acronym means, it is the World Intellectual Property Organization. And it is one of the organs or arms of the United Nations. You know, under the United Nations, there are many different sub-organizations which are international in nature, like the World Health Organization, UNICEF, all those different organizations. So WIPO is the UN organ or international organization that treats with intellectual property. The ILO is also one of those.
Okay.
So WIPO has 193 countries that are members of WIPO. 193. And it deals with matters relating to intellectual property globally. And incidentally, is the wealthiest of all the United Nations organs.
Okay.
Because it's revenue generating. People file trademarks, industrial designs, etc., and they do so under some of the international mechanisms that are available, and they pay fees for doing so. And WIPO is one of those organizations that invest a lot of monies as it generates money. It pumps a lot of that back into member countries and developing intellectual property in member countries. So you would see we have had in the last few years an upsurge in the intellectual property activities that our country is participating in. You see CAIPO, our Corporate Affairs and Intellectual Property Office, is more visible with various initiatives. Now, the reason for that, to answer your question, is because we have been taking up our space and sitting at our seat at the table at WIPO. I attended the WIPO Assembly. So just as we have the General Assembly of the United Nations, the WIPO Assemblies is the annual conference of all the member countries of WIPO. Now, what has been happening with Grenada is that our participation has not been as it should be. We have been absent at the ministerial policy level. In fact, when I attended the assemblies last year, it was the first time that they could remember a Grenadian minister actually attending the assemblies. We tend to have the registrar of CAIPO. Yes, there are lots of technical meetings during the assemblies, but to derive the benefits, to network, to make the connections, to observe what's happening and see from a high-level policy point of view what benefits you can derive, you need to be at the table.
Okay.
So that's the importance to your question. And that is how ultimately it was with my intervention, attending the regional ministerial meetings, because there's a as in all things, they have sub-regions. And in 2023, I think it was, I attended the regional Council of Ministers meeting for intellectual property.
I think I do remember that.
Yes.
I do remember that.
And I had the rare distinction of being one of those countries granted a bilateral with the Director General of WIPO, who was in attendance in person. And this is where some of the benefits that we are now seeing was triggered, because we were able to have this conversation with him. We talked about visiting and participating in the international exhibition that takes place every year. We were supposed to do that in 2024 to mark our 50th anniversary. It didn't happen because of Hurricane Beryl. Hurricane Beryl actually struck the week we were supposed to leave for Geneva with all the stuff for the exhibition. So we put it off 1 year. And that's where the conversation started about a WIPO World Youth Ambassador, which Vaughan was eventually conferred with, because he was one of the acts. We were going up with some artists, and so as part of our 50th anniversary activity there.
Great.
And when they saw Vaughan's CV, they said, well, this is the ideal candidate for our youth ambassador. So we started the progress.
Happy to hear that.
So it's realizing a lot of benefits for us. Being there. So strategically, it's good that we are participating in the activities of WIPO.
Because what you just mentioned in meeting the Director General, it sprung up to a question that I was going to ask, have that brought about any new technical assistance or capacity building of programs at MAC, especially for Grenada?
Absolutely, it has. Absolutely. So WIPO has this facility where they assist countries free of charge to digitize all their records and to also facilitate electronic filing of applications for trademarks, patents, industrial designs. And we were not part of that at all. And coming out of the meeting I had with the DG in 2023, in January, we met in November 2023 at the Council of Ministers meeting, and in January 2024, Government of Grenada and WIPO signed an agreement. Okay. And under that agreement, WIPO provided all the technical assistance to digitize, because part of our thrust as a government is to digitize the whole of government. Yes. So WIPO provided all that we needed, free of charge, including training of staff and the actual work. And now we have completed the digitization of all our intellectual property records under that agreement. Everything is digitized. The CAIPO staff is trained. And apart from digitizing our records, going back from the first trademark that was ever filed in Grenada to present, we also are now in the cloud, because there's a system WIPO uses. It's called IPAS. Yes. Intellectual property. I can't remember what it is. I think it's IPAS 4.0 or something of that nature. So we are right. So we are on the latest version is IPAS 4.0. Okay. And we are also in the cloud. So there's IPAS 4.0 and there's IPAS in the clouds. So all our records, our archives are now stored in the cloud. It means that Grenada could never lose its intellectual property records. So if we have a natural disaster or something. Something happy to hear that. So we are there now. And the other step is to implement the electronic filing of applications for trademarks and patents and so. So one of the things that came out of this meeting, when I went to Geneva last week, I had a sit down again with the Director General, and Grenada, I must say, is coming in for very, very high praises at that level. the director and his assistant directors and regional directors, they're actually mentioning Grenada as a model as to what happens when you tap into
that we always
resources.
seem to get to that level.
Yes.
Always seem to get to that.
Yeah, one of the senior officials at WIPO said to me, we were chatting, so you realize you are our star minister, right?
Right. Well, let me also ask you this. How is government addressing, especially when it comes to that digital divide that we see sometimes? Mm-hmm. When I say digital divide, to ensure that, the grassroots, creators and rural farmers, etc., can access these modern, as we mentioned, the iPass 5.0 services and so forth. Talk to me about that.
So one of the things, you're on the ball this morning, man. You're asking all the right questions. One of the things we discussed when I met with the director general again and his team, because we are going to keep tapping, and we had to bring Grenada into the 21st century. We were into dark ages with intellectual property when I came in, so we have a lot of catching up to do. And one of the discussions we had at the meeting, I requested of him for WIPO to fund some of its experts coming to Grenada, and that would happen in the next few months, to train our locals, our innovators, our people, our agents, our trademark agents who are, for the most part, attorneys at law who file trademarks on behalf of people, and there are some companies that file their own trademarks. So what they're going to be doing, they're going to be coming and they're going to be having training sessions so that our people, our creatives, our innovators, our trademark agents and so can learn how to use the system so that we can begin e-filing of all applications. So that's one of the conversations we had, and that's going to happen soon. Last day out of the conversation we had a number of things happening, including the workshop. There was a workshop for creatives. We did it in conjunction with the Ministry of Tourism and Culture and Creative Affairs. And that was with IP and music. And we had some experts came down here. Ambassador Vaughan did a presentation, everything. That was a few months back, maybe April or March or April. So what happens when you show up and speak up and you get noticed, doors open. And that is what has been happening for us with intellectual property, and with us digitizing all our IP laws and going forward. So now, as of today, when an application for a trademark is received at CAIPO, it is loaded onto the iPass system, iPass 4.0, and we're in the cloud. So we're good to go on that score. All we need to do now is to train the users, the customers of CAIPO, on the system so that they can sit in their office and file their application electronically. And that is important because another big achievement we got coming out of my attending the assemblies last year was that we became the 131st country to be part of the Madrid system. I think we spoke about the Madrid protocol here already. And the Madrid system is what allows for a person in any part of the world, including Grenada, to file their trademark and designate from among 131 countries which countries they would like their mark to be protected in. So you don't, so say you manufacture a product and you send it to, you sell it in China, Brazil, Czechoslovakia again, as you know, USSR, Luxembourg, South Africa, United States, right? So these countries are all different parts of the world. What happened previously is that to have your trademark protected in the country where you do business in each country, you have to retain a lawyer, and you have to file a trademark application in each of those 7 or so countries. With the Madrid system, what you do is that you file one application right here in Grenada. And when you file your application, as part of your application form, you say which country you would like protection in. So you would, in that case, you would say South Africa, Luxembourg, Brazil, China, United States. Boom. One small fee, and your mark is registered and protected in all those countries.
I have one more question for you before the break, though, because as you talk about that, the Madrid Protocol, I wonder, because, there's over 130 countries who have, and who via that single application, that's one single application. Now, what is your ministry doing to actively insensitize, we into the season right now, the soca artists, the digital creators, the local inventors, and so forth, to utilize that global platform? What is your ministry doing for that?
Well, we have a very close relationship with the Office of Creative Affairs and with some of the innovators directly. So we are constantly engaging them. I assure you, they are all fully aware. There's a lot of engagement, information, and we are going to be continuing with the training and education of our creative and innovators. And it goes both ways, because what we are doing, part of what we did, for example, at this meeting last week, Trinidad is one of the more advanced of the Caribbean countries in terms of the intellectual property office and where they are with IP and that kind of thing. They have all kind of protections and whatnot. They're ahead of some of us, Trinidad, Jamaica, I would say. And so Trinidad, the Minister of Intellectual Property, Legal Affairs, and we had a nice sit down with our the two registrars, and we had a very fruitful discussion. And we came up with a draft memorandum of understanding where we would engage in more collaboration and exchanges with not just our respective intellectual property offices, but with our creatives and innovators and cultural acts, and we will do it at this governmental level. Okay. So, we're looking to see how we could use our Vaughns and our Jeffersons and our Marshall and have them collaborate more to lift the profile of intellectual property in both our countries, to train our respective staff. We do a lot of exchanges, and so, because as advanced as they are, everybody was taken by surprise when Vaughan became the
exactly.
And everybody
were looking for
come into Grenada.
Probably wonder how we fit in there.
How did y'all get that done?
We're due for a break. Let's take it. When we come back, we continue the conversation. Stay with us, folks. To the Point Classic Radio, GBN TV. We'll be right back. Don't touch it out.
Looking for a burst of flavor in every sip? Discover the refreshing world of Rush
Life doesn't stand still. It moves. It grows. It asks you to believe in what's next. Your first car. Owning your home. The business you build. The future you choose to invest in. Life moves in steps. When you're ready to take the next one, we're here to help you move forward with banking solutions designed for life. From vehicle financing and mortgages to education savings, credit solutions, and support for your growing business. Republic Bank, ready for life, every step.
What happens when you add groovy, power soca, and calypso all in one weekend? We get Sammy's Weekend. The most amazing part of the Spice Mass build-up comes to Progress Park St. Andrew, a trio of competitive shows. Thursday, July 23rd from 8 p.m. The Brian Griffin Groovy semifinals. Friday, July 24th, also at 8 p.m. Dr. Trevor Friday Power Soca semifinals. And on Sunday, July 26th, the Melody Papitet Calypso semifinals. 5 p.m. sharp. Come out and support the artists as they each give 100% to secure a place in the finals. 3 crowns at stake, 3 nights facing the judges, and 3 nights of thrilling the audience. Sammy's Weekend, July 23rd, 24th, and Sunday the 26th. Progress Park.
All Mass is back, and it's bigger and funnier than ever. St. George's Lions Club, Spice Mass Corporation and Glen present All Mass 2026 at the Grenada Boys Secondary School on Sunday, July 19th from 3 p.m. Bring the whole family for an afternoon of laughs, local entertainment, exciting prizes, and a special appearance by the Carnival Queen contestants. Tickets are $40 for adults and $15 for children. Available from any Lions or Leo member, Grenadian Optical, and Clear Vision. July 19th at GBSS promises humorous antics and infectious laughter for the whole family. All Mass, we not giving up. See you then. This advertisement sponsored by Demerara Mutual Life. I'm with Dem.
Parents, do you go to bed with the knowledge that your children are comfortably asleep in the next room? Or are they allowed to attend every Fed advertised? You are responsible for the safety and well-being of your children, and it is your responsibility to know their whereabouts. Children should not be at adult events. Please guide your children, engage them in age-appropriate activities. Let us be spicy parents for this carnival season and beyond. S. Speak to your children about positive behavior. P. Pay attention to them at all times. I. Inspire good behavior in your children by also displaying good behavior. C. Check with your children. Always know their whereabouts. Y. You are responsible for your children. Maintain control to keep them safe. This is a message from the National Parenting Program, Ministry of Social and Community Development, Housing and Gender Affairs.
Welcome back to our listeners. Welcome back to our viewers once again. It's To The Point, Classic Radio GBN TV. We're moving on, folks. Senator Joseph, welcome back once again.
Thank you.
We certainly missed. I certainly want to hear your views on that in terms of the the geographical indications that were in relation to recently that cabinet approved the Grenada's geographical indicators in policy to say. How will this of course legally shield and maximize the should I say the commercial value of ionic local export like the cocoa, the nutmeg and rum and so forth? Talk to me about that.
Yes, so it's something we're very excited about that we should have done a long time ago. We have unique products in Grenada. Products unique and identifiable only because they are from Grenada. Our unique strain of nutmeg, our very high quality cocoa found nowhere else in the world. River and Twine rum, the only rum distillery of its kind in the world. There are so many other things unique to Grenada. The Java horns.
Yeah.
And there's a species of intellectual property that we have not before taken advantage of, so that the owners and producers of these products can derive maximum value, even higher prices than they fetch now. And that species is called geographical indications. It's a species of like trademarks that connect with the origin or the geographical origin of the product. So the mark would be for Blue Mountain coffee. And whenever you think Blue Mountain, you think Jamaica. But Jamaica is the only place in the world that has the Blue Mountains and that high quality, unique strain of coffee grown in the Blue Mountain areas. You could think of Demerara sugar. Immediately you think Guyana.
Yes.
You think of the drink champagne. Immediately you think France. And so that's what a geographical indication is. And in order to have your product specifically identified and protected as a geographical indication, origin-linked product, you must have the legislation, you must have the right legislation, you must be part of the relevant WIPO Treaty, the Lisbon Agreement, you must have the as I said, the legislation, so that you can register that specific species of trademarks. We've not done so. And this is one of the things we worked with WIPO, get a lot of help from the specialized agency within WIPO dealing with geographical indications. That's one of the things I worked on last year when I attended the assemblies. So you see, when people talk about ministers traveling and things, this is why we travel. And on top of that, we have an internal policy in our cabinet that the traveling is not allowed unless it is funded.
Okay.
So I want to let Grenadians know this travel is actually funded by WIPO.
Okay.
And so we are now at the point where we completed the policy that would inform the legislation. We have presented the policy to the cabinet and it has been approved. We have commenced drafting the legislation, and we are to the point where I can safely say that before the end of 2026, Grenada will have its geographical indications law, which will allow us now to register internationally our origin-linked products. But it goes further than that. What we've done as we prepared the policy and had all the conversations with WIPO and get all the support and the training, the support and the training extended to the Grenada Cooperative Nutmeg Association,
Right.
the Grenada Cocoa Association, and the Chocolate Makers Association. So we are looking very shortly after we pass the law to get our first GI register. Now, to get a GI register, you have to meet a lot of technical threshold in terms of the specification, because you have to prove that this product is unique to Grenada. And so our nutmeg, all the different scientific studies and the specification will be done. That's well and trained. So we are really, really excited about that.
Oh, great. Glad to hear that.
Right?
Because I was going to ask, because there's over 4,000 local nutmeg and cocoa farms on average.
But the good thing is that we have the GCNA.
How would it be the leveraging these new GI benefits? How would leveraging that?
Remember, our nutmeg producers or nutmeg farmers, and so they don't sell on the international market individually. They sell through the GCNA.
Okay.
So actually that makes it easier for us to get a GI.
So
the GCNA will get a GI for Grenada nutmeg. Right? But say when we have the Cocoa Association, or even we have still, let's say we want to register a GI for Grenada chocolate as opposed to cocoa, because chocolate is the end product. And we have about 5 chocolate makers in Grenada. It can still be done. An association or organization or company, usually it's a form of a company, is formed, and that company gets the GI. So all of the chocolate manufacturers would be part of that company. So you have Juve, for example, then you have Crayfish Bay. So they will sell their product under the name Juve. They will sell Crayfish Bay, whatever the other thing is, the other names of the other company, Belmont Estate and so.
Yes.
But the GI, and there would be a symbol, a logo, right? The GI would be on all their packages. So anybody purchasing Juve or Belmont Estate or Crayfish will know that these products all come from the same geographical location and have this made with the same cocoa that has the unique qualities that qualifies for a geographical indication. So they will all benefit that way from the GI. So for example, Jamaican jerk.
Yeah.
It's a GI. It's a GI, but so many different companies in Jamaica make jerk.
Yes.
But they all have the GI label on it.
Okay.
And that's what gives it the uniqueness.
Creates that easier way of identifying.
Mm-hmm. So it's possible.
You also noted that Grenada is developing a new, of course, Patent Act. I want to talk about that just a little bit, because it's always interesting to know that in terms of reviewing copyright legislation and so forth.
Yeah.
What specific loopholes are there in the intention it's so close?
So right now our patent legislation is quite outdated.
Yeah.
We still, for example, don't have proper regulations to properly examine, because when a patent comes in, the scientists and so, depending on the nature of the patent, they would examine the patent to determine that it is a new invention, it's unique, it hasn't been, it's not something that was invented and patented already, and that kind of thing. So we came from a situation where we had to first register a patent in the UK, and then come to register it. So the UK did the heavy lifting of all the examination and whatnot, but it's a very expensive
So that's going to be done locally now? Or?
Yes. So, or what we can do, so that's one of the areas of collaboration we can do. We can have with Trinidad under the MOU we are about to execute with them, because as we discuss it. So that's what I mean. And we have the draft legislation, and the good thing about it is that the draft patent legislation is a harmonized bit of legislation, meaning it is intended to be passed in all the OECS countries. So it's an OECS patent legislation. I think Antigua went ahead. And so what we will do is that we will share the costs of examination, and so, because it's an expensive exercise. Depending on the nature of the patent, you have to get a proper scientist to examine it to determine whether it would qualify as a patent to be protected, as opposed to something that's not a new invention or already patented or so.
I have one final question on this, because I want to ask this, because this is important, because I know there are listeners and viewers who, of course, but this conversation will certainly be of interest to them. You know, how will advancing the preparation for the Marrakesh Treaty?
Marrakesh Treaty.
Let me get that right. You know, expand access to published work, especially for the visually impaired Grenadians.
Mm-hmm. So that's another area that we need to catch up with on intellectual property in Grenada. Yeah. So now that we've done Madrid Protocol, we've done IPAS 4.0, IPAS in the cloud, we geographical indications will be done by the end of this year, and we are advanced with patent. One of the things we have to look at now is the Marrakesh Treaty that deals with specifically with protecting the intellectual property of disabled people. And so again, we would get the necessary support from WIPO to make sure that once we accede to the treaty, we pass the local legislation that will protect this particular and unique set of creatives in our society, right? And it would create certain obligations on us.
Okay.
So we have to get the training. And with WIPO's guidance, as we did with the other areas, I'm sure in short order, we will be signing on to the Marrakesh Convention and passing the local legislation.
I do still have one final question on that, but I'm listening to all of this, and I'm still thinking about the overall benefits for Grenada. The overall benefits that could derive from all the treaties and all the legislation and everything. The overall benefits for Grenada.
Well, it puts first of all, it gives, in all cases, global protection to our local innovators, creatives, and products. So, for example, do you know that in the world today, of 3 out of every 5 top-tier Michelin restaurants use Grenada cocoa in their chocolate dishes?
I never knew that.
Grenada cocoa. Now, you see, if you're not in the sphere, you wouldn't understand. Grenada cocoa is among the highest quality in the world. Already, Grenada cocoa fetches higher prices than other chocolate from, say, Ghana, Madagascar, the other countries that produce cocoa. So we don't have the landmass, we don't produce in bulk as they do, but our cocoa is among the highest price, if not the highest price.
And I guess that has to do with the quality of the...
It's a unique strain, that's why we must protect it. So sometimes you go to certain countries and you buy chocolate and you will see the label saying contains exotic cocoa from Grenada, West Indies. And not all the time that's true.
Okay.
But the people in that world people who are into chocolate, retailers of chocolate and so, they know.
Yeah.
They know once you're talking Grenada chocolate, you're talking about a Ferrari of chocolate.
And that brings the incentive for individual want to purchase.
Yes. So when we ensure that our products are properly protected, right now if we find that there's some infringement, we can't do anything about it.
Okay.
Right? So it confers, having the protection confers legal rights.
Yes.
So, for example, you register a mark under the Madrid Protocol. If it's infringed, there's a process. You can challenge the infringement in any country in the world. And it's a smooth, seamless process that doesn't necessarily involve hiring lawyers in each individual country and so. So that's the beauty about it. And intellectual property are things of value. Your music, your literary works, your branding, your innovating. These are things of value, high value too. And that's what we wanted. We want to sensitize our people to the rights they have in their intellectual property, these intangible rights that you create.
Yes.
When you write a story or a book, or you do a song, or you create a brand, it's valuable. One of the most well-known cases involving in copyright infringement that went all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court in, was it the 40s or the 50s? One of the Trinidadian, the Trinidadian guy that sang rum and Coca-Cola, working for the Yankee dollar, and Harry Belafonte sang over. What was his name in Trinidad? One of the old Calypsonians. He sued.
Yes.
He sued Harry Belafonte.
I don't remember.
In the United States. Back then, I was in his intellectual property rights. Because Harry, he sang his song in Trinidad, and then Belafonte sang it, and it was a big international hit. He's making tons of money, and it's not his song.
Nothing came.
So the case went all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court, and he won.
Okay.
So that's what intellectual property is all about. And we have not been paying attention to that in Grenada. We have not been educated and sensitized, and we have a lot of creatives and talents and intellectual property created right here in Grenada. So that's what we are doing, making people aware and protecting, whether it's products like cocoa nutmeg to music or other literary works.
And it's also
design,
and it's also important for the artists and other creators to get themselves up to speed also in terms of registering themselves and so forth. Because sometimes we feel a lack of that in terms of
But I think it's there. When I'm moving in the space, being the minister responsible for intellectual property, I'm feeling it. Because you go, for example, to the marketplace, the diaspora marketplace that we had recently, and you see some of the products that we produce right here. High quality products from the quality of the product itself to the presentation and the packaging and the branding. And you'll not be able to distinguish those products from, say, something done in the United States. That's the quality we are producing here now. So people need to understand that there is value in these things. Somebody come here, they buy up some products because it's nice, it's good high quality stuff, even the skincare stuff or the whatnot. And next thing they go on out there, Canada, the US, whatever, Mexico, whatever, and they start passing off.
And
they will pass off your product, and then you're not protected. So you find out now, with all these measures we're putting in place, you find out that your intellectual property is being infringed upon in another country, you can take action.
All right. I know a lot of individuals who are into the producing these products.
Very high quality. So we have to work with our creative and protect them and help to promote the products. So, for example, with the GIs and so, part of getting the GI, there's a marketing side of it. That was part of the discussion I had with WIPO last week. There's a marketing side of it. So in the initial stages, we can get assistance to market this new GI coming out of Grenada. Right. So it's known in the right places. And until you settle yourself and you start making your money, then they let you go.
Senator, we due for a break. Let's take it. When we come back, I want us to get into, of course, conversation in terms of the tongue of St. George.
Yeah, sure.
There's certainly a lot we have to talk about. Stay with us, folks. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Don't touch it down.
When you add groovy.
30 artists, one stage, one champion. GBN Spice Up the Carnage 3.0 is here. After crowning Warner in 2024 and Dreadline in 2025, the search is on for Grenada's next breakout star. The competition kicks off Thursday, July the 23rd with the quarterfinals. All 30 artists battling for glory. That is the semifinals on July the 30th before the grand finals August 6th. Come to the Carnage, cheer on your favorite artists, enjoy unforgettable entertainment, win tickets for major Spice Mass events, and so much more. GBN's Spice Up the Carnage 3.0, powered by Flow, Huggins, Answer Coatings, Glen, Spring Water, Grenada Distillers Limited, Tropical Catering, Sandals Grenada, the Grenville Cooperative Credit Union, and the National Lotteries Authority, with support from the Grenada Film Company, the Spice Mass Corporation, and Jambalassi Grenada. Spice Up the Carnage 3.0. Be there.
What happens when you add groovy, power soca, and calypso all in one weekend? We get Sammy's Weekend. The most amazing part of the Spice Mass build-up comes to Progress Park, St. Andrew. A trio of competitive shows. Thursday, July 23rd from 8 p.m. The Brian Griffin Groovy semifinals. Friday, July 24th, also at 8 p.m. Dr. Trevor Friday Power Soca semifinals. And on Sunday, July 26th, the Melody Poppytet Calypso semifinals. 5 p.m. sharp. Come out and support the artists as they each give 100% to secure a place in the finals. 3 crowns at stake, 3 nights facing the judges, and 3 nights of thrilling the audience. Sammy's Weekend, July 23rd, 24th, and Sunday the 26th.
Old Mass is back, and it's bigger and funnier than ever. St. George's Lions Club, Spice Mass Corporation, and Grenlec present Old Mass 2026 at the Grenada Boys Secondary School on Sunday, July 19th from 3 p.m. Bring the whole family for an afternoon of laughs, local entertainment, exciting prizes, and a special appearance by the Carnival Queen contestants. Tickets are $40 for adults and $15 for children. Available from any Lions or Leo member, Grenadian Optical, and Clear Vision. July 19th at GBSS promises humorous antics and infectious laughter for the whole family. Old Mass, we not giving up. See you then. This advertisement sponsored by Demerara Mutual Life. I'm with Dem.
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers. Once again, we have, of course, Senator Claudette Joseph with us this morning. And as mentioned before the break, Senator, I want to switch our conversation, of course, to the tongue of St. George just a wee bit, because there's lots to talk about. And time certainly is not on our side this morning to talk about all that we need to talk about. Yes. But, you know, you recently announced the urgent sidewalk remedial work and broader rejuvenation of plans for the Carnage with the Ministry of Infrastructure. What is that precise timeline you giving to complete these upgrades, and how will you ensure that the local businesses and so forth will not be disrupted during this particular construction phase?
Okay, right. First of all, let me start by thanking the Ministry of Infrastructure. I find them most responsive in terms of me flagging matters to be addressed in the town of St. George, and they responding. We visited the Carnage a few weeks ago with the technicians, the Cuban engineers, the chief technical officer, the road officer, potential contractor, to have a look at the sidewalk, especially in that area around where the big iron boats were. And it got mashed up, and so people were falling and whatnot. Big hole there. And they promised that they would figure out how to deal with it, because of course the water is right under the road. So I'm happy to say to the public that the works have commenced, and those are remedial works that will take place on the Carenage sidewalk, and you will notice also some work is being done on the pedestrian plaza. The planters are being redone, and so we're looking to do some remedial upgrades and beautification, and also to make the space safer for people using it. Those works are expected to be completed in about 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay.
If you notice, the works are being done mainly after working hours. So they start from around 5 and they work till about 9 or so at nights. So the bulk of it is being done when the traffic is lighter, so as not, and the businesses are closed, so as not to interrupt activity and business on the Carenage. We are fully aware that if we are to do the work during daytime, it will be very inconvenient and in some instances costly for some of the businesses in the area. So that's how we found the workaround. And those works, as I said, should be done inside of a month, 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay, great.
That's remedial. But we have bigger plans.
Tell me, besides the main harbour area and most of the secondary street sidewalks in the tongue of St. George, and you know they require maintenance a whole lot. Now, what specific infrastructure project have you secured for the inner city neighborhoods in particular? And you know, during this big time, talk to me related to that.
Well, in terms of when you talk about the inner city area, if we did a major rehabilitative work project on 4 Roads, Grenville Street.
Yes.
That we did a big retaining wall and a box drain and the whole road, that area of Grenville Street that we call Bell Hill. If you're from Tongue, you'll know Bell Hill. It takes you back up around, it loops around and takes you back up to the entrance to the cemetery. As you come up Church Street, it connects right back there.
Yes.
And that was another Molyneux waiting to happen.
Okay.
And the residents, reached out to me. I went down there several times. I saw it. There are a couple of houses where the people literally had to abandon out because everything was sliding down, and that would have slid down on Melville Street. So it was a major piece of work that the Ministry of Infrastructure undertook, and again, I'm grateful to them for that. So that's done.
Yeah.
We did some work on the sidewalks and down, but that, to me, we still have to try to find the proper solution, because the idea was to do the concrete slabs right over the drains.
I think the quality of the work was not.
Yeah, well, I don't know, but they've done it like twice, and then big trucks, and so you see, once you do that, it's meant to be sidewalk, but vehicles park on it, vehicles drive on it, and that is what has broken up some of it. So we still thinking in some areas we may need to do like grills, metal grills. But I for one advocated for the slabs. It's easier for ladies to walk on the slabs.
I understand.
Because your heels get stuck in the grills.
I understand.
So I know I lobbied for us to do the slabs, so you widen the sidewalks in some area, and in other areas you create sidewalks where there are drains. And that is what we have been trying to do. That's what we did on Upper Lucas Street. We created a little sidewalk where there was a drain. So I just up to yesterday, I was speaking with the guys at infrastructure, and in some of the areas they said, Minister, we may have to put the grills instead of that instead of the slabs. So it is something that we would continue to do. To enhance the whole town and to have it more convenient for pedestrians in the area. But there are lots of other little things. The widening of Old Fort Road. In fact, I was coming down Old Fort Road last night, and one of those big coaster buses was coming up. And it dawned on me, because I had to pull on the side. I said, boy, we should have widened a little higher up too, on the top side.
On the other top.
Yeah, on the top side.
I think I understand what you mean.
Mr. Minister of Infrastructure, if you're listening, I'm coming back.
Tell me, You always hear the conversation, but the tongue of St. George is stagnant in terms of more than what you could do with it as it stands right now.
Yeah.
In the overall view, from you being the caretaker candidate, the future of the tongue of St. George, what's your vision for it?
Yes. You know, as we had a wonderful meeting at Heinze School with the polling divisions in that area, mainly the people from 4 Road Granville Street and so. And some great ideas came out last night at that session, inviting the people of Lotus Lane, Archibald Avenue, Tantine, and so on, Mitchell's Lane, to come to J.W. Fletcher RC School this afternoon. We'll be there from 6. We want to hear from you too. There's a lot that we need to do in the town of St. George, and I'll tell you that at the senior cabinet level, we have already engaged with a group of people, architects, engineers, historians, planners and heritage enthusiasts and so, to come up with a master plan for the rejuvenation of the city of St. George, right? Reviving and taking full advantage of the fact that we are quaint Georgian style town. That will involve repurposing, renovating and repurposing our heritage buildings, starting with York House. The plan is being developed and we are already taking action to make it happen. What I mean when I say that is that we have already, for example, purchased the Priory building on Church Street for the purpose of turning it into an art gallery. The Priory building being one of the heritage buildings in the town of St. George. York House, we are having discussions on what can happen there, but definitely it would be priority for renovation. The Drill Yard, which is now owned by the NIS, we will be acquiring that property to be part of the greater revitalization and rejuvenation of the town, because the Drill Yard is actually originally part of Fort George.
Yes,
and you see, we're almost done.
Conversation in terms of wanting to
well, it's a hazard now. That conversation is happening now because the engineers and we discussing whether there's anything that can be salvaged. It unfortunately doesn't look so. So what we'll have to do is to record and document before we demolish what's left of it, because it's a danger to the public, especially the side bordering Young Street.
Young Street, there's another area.
It's a danger. The museum and now the public library. Remember, I campaigned heavily on restoration and reopening the public library. But we started the work towards that in 2023. But GT, the sea comes up under the building. The lower floor where the children's library used to be, the water comes in when the tide is high.
Really?
And the architects, historians, the different people are giving us. We are now doing a feasibility study, put it that way, to see whether it is actually best to restore the library at that location. Most people seem to have the different ideas for that building that does not involve the library going back in that location. So when we do the rejuvenation, the master plan, part of what we are asking to be advised on by the expert is what's the best location for the public library. But the public library is a must in all of that.
It is a must.
And then the carronage we will treat as a separate phase, because the whole carronage needs a makeover. That's what it needs. We are not maximizing the value of the carronage at all. And it's one of our greatest assets that could yield much economic benefits for us. And so the carronage is going to be a phase of the project all by itself. So what we're doing now is like remedial. So we do have great plans for the revitalization of the town. We got some great ideas at the session last night in terms of some of what
I certainly hope they could be implemented and in time to come. Those particular ideas.
Well, I'll tell you, that revitalization also needs a champion. It needs somebody to be, for want of a better word, a pit bull to make it happen. And I am well prepared and excited to be that person. I would really love to be that person who champions the revitalization of the tongue of St. George.
All right. Minister, we don't have the time, so we may not even be able to accommodate calls this morning.
Oh, wow.
I will try my best to see if we could grab one. But I just want to ask you one question, though. As a busy government minister, Attorney General, how do you divide the time to ensure that, that everyday concern for the tongue of St. George continuity is not overlooked? Talk to me about that. I always wanted to ask your ministers that in particular. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, it's heavy, but when you commit to serve, to start with, I'm in this because I'm a serious patriot.
Yeah.
I love Grenada. I want to see Grenada on par with other first world countries. I don't see why we can't be if we take certain correct steps. And so my commitment is to Grenada and to serving the people of Grenada, and particularly the people of the tongue of St. George. I love my city.
Yeah.
I love my steel band sides. I love what we are about as a genuine tongue person. So I am really excited about being in a position to make a difference, and that's what I'm focused on doing. I at the same time understand the awesome responsibility that comes with that high constitutional office of the Attorney General, and also of being a minister in the cabinet. I'm able to do it because apart from being focused and naturally a disciplined person, that's how I've always been.
Right.
From childhood, I've always been like that, doing a whole lot of stuff. I remember when I applied to Cable Campus and I had to fill out the form, the part for the extracurricular activity, I had to add an extra sheet of paper to it. But with all of that focus on discipline on my part, I will not be able to do it if I don't have very supportive and committed staff at the ministry at all levels, whether it's legal, labor, consumer affairs, the office of the Attorney General, or at the constituency level, the members of the NDC support tongue of St. George branch. They are really, really wonderful and supportive, and the general community, the general members of the tongue, many of the people who help and support, and anything I call for, or like you, I call you to help me with something yesterday, and you were right there, right? And so this is how it's possible, because of the support and assistance rendered by the people around me, whether it's at the ministerial level or at the constituency level. So thank you, everybody. I can't do it without you.
Let me also ask you this. You have contested, the tongue of St. George, 2018, 2022, without any victory. What makes your approach different in this upcoming election? When I say that, what changes you have made, of course, to win over the undecided voters? Yeah,
well, the first thing I had to look at is why. Why didn't I succeed? Right? And what mistakes were made that caused me not to succeed. And we did that in that examination. I also did introspection and tried my best from 2022 to now to remedy those deficiencies, those things that I think work towards my not being able to win the seat. And I'm very confident now that it's going to happen this time, because the remedial steps were taken, the gaps were filled, and most importantly, thankfully, because my party won, I was put in a position to show the people of the town of St. George what rural representation is all about. Even though I'm not the elected MP, I was able to tap into every program of the government that I think would benefit the people of the tongue of St. George. I did not waste just warm the seat in the cabinet. I advocated, and I continue to advocate for the constituency of the tongue of St. George in government, in the cabinet. When everybody else is advocating for their constituency, I don't even think they remember I didn't win the seat because I behave as though I am the representative of the people of the town of St. George in the government, and I ensure that the town of St. George gets its fair share of the pie. No, I just want to say I am still limited. I am still inhibited by the fact that I'm not the MP. So I need the people of the town of St. George to fix that when next elections are called. To fix that, to put me in a position where I am the actually elected MP, and I will get a lot more done.
All right. I have one more question. I know it's just already 10 a.m., so which I may have to forego the call-in segment this morning. I may have to have you come back one of these days because I have so much things I want to talk to you about, but time was just limited this morning. You know, political analysts has pointed out the intense competition over the city seat. And especially given the historical influence of figures like the Honorable Peter David, how do you plan to unite the constituency and counter the opposition, local ground games, per se, if I could say that way?
Honestly, and you could tell me if I'm wrong, you live in the constituency, so you could tell me if I'm wrong. But I think I'm doing that already, because to tell you the truth, GT, when I am supporting communities, whether it's assisting an individual who has a specific need or treating with a community that needs something to be done, whether they need a street to be done, a pathway, a step, a light, I don't see colors, because to me, we are all Grenadians. Yeah. I don't see it like that. I don't know. And the worst thing, my people in the branch, they know me already. They don't even come to me anymore about this person's an MP and that. You understand? I am not in that nonsense, right? I serve the people. I don't ask who you voted for. I don't ask. I don't know. To me, once you're resident in the constituency, and there's a need for your community, or in some instances yourself, and I can be of assistance, I will assist, and that's how I have been doing it. And sometimes, depending on the request, it's not even something that I can tap into any government program to assist, and I do so by my own efforts, with my own resources. And you can ask anybody in the constituency. I never asked who this, because I don't see it so. Never. And to me, that is how you unite people. You serve everybody, you bring everybody together, and that's why I'm inviting everybody to our constituency, the People's Manifesto sessions, because I honestly don't see it so. And sometimes I know, in fact, I have had instances where people come to me and they say, well, because, me and you had a little thing. I mean, a guy from Abdabo, apparently during the last campaign, he claimed he was at NNP, and he claimed when I came, he cost me. Honestly, I don't even remember. I don't even remember. So he said, well, I was so moved with how you dealt with me, seeing that me and you had a little issue. I said, we had an issue. I didn't even know that. And then he reminded me. I said, boy, me even remember that, because, it's campaigning and people would say things. And so I don't take these things to heart. I am, that's how I am. I'm a uniter. That's how I function. You can get testimonies from the ground. I don't see colors. To me, election time come, you have your party, your campaign is a competition. It is a competition. So you compete. Yeah. You compete fiercely, and the best man or woman wins. And after it's done, it's done. We are all the same. We are all one people.
Senator,
Peter and I are good.
We're going to have to take a wrap. That's what we're going to take a wrap. Of course, I know that the callers may be a little bit upset this morning, but we're able to accommodate them. But I want to thank you once again for popping in, sharing the information this morning. It's always fruitful conversation with you. Yes. I hope we could do it again. I know after your busy schedule, not always able to pop by, but certainly do appreciate it. All the best.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Highly appreciate
Thank you, viewers and listeners. And sorry we didn't get to chat some more. We might have to come and do part 2. I come back and we just do calls for the hour, and I just talk.
Probably. That probably is possible. So have a good one. Hey, folks, that's what we're going to wrap today's edition of To The Point. Have a good one, folks. That's what we say goodbye.